Good morning and happy 6.15 day. We are here. My plan today is to level Dragoon to max because we are now going to be going into what is called tribal quests, which are a great source of experience. The Pixie Days are about 1 million experience per day once you're post 80, so not that great. So it is time to go to the Arxidar quest. Make sure you have done your quests in Thavnair if you were expecting to be able to do those today. Otherwise, you'll have to knock out a couple little quest chains there. But they're all out in Thavnair, so there's no need to like peek out to other zones or anything to the best of my knowledge. But let's jump into the patch notes. Alright, so 6.15 is going to bring a lot of changes to the game, mostly around battle, but this is not Data Center Visit. I think a lot of people are going to expect this to be Data Center Visit because they thought of it as like, oh yeah, that's part of 6.1, but not part of the day of. That is its own patch, just like World Visit for anybody that remembers that. It's saved there because launch day may not be perfect, so it's set aside to its own. We don't have a date on that, but knowing that we are roughly slated for August for 6.2, just based on the roadmap they laid out, we can roughly guess that date. And we know that we'll have kind of live letters between now and then. It is logical to think that 6.18 will fall sometime in July. Do not expect week 1 to be perfect. Anybody organizing community events around that, but it should be a great time. I don't expect it to largely change anything super long term, in the same way that like the market board wasn't changed by World Visit on a wide scale because most people are still just going to buy from their market board. I think it's more about being able to visit with friends like directly because Party Finder will not be something you can see cross data center. That will be something that you need to hop first. But it should be really helpful for people that like manage multiple alts so they can play with friends or play with a community they're part of. So it should be really great for things like Discords or streamer communities or RP communities or just like big community style events. So 6.15, coming off of 6.11a being balance changes, we've got a couple of things to go over, but keep in mind we will have more significant changes in patch 6.2 to things like adventure plates and beyond. We'll be in a full content cycle there. The even numbered patches, for anybody that doesn't remember that, 0.2s is also when we get our next Savage tier. It is when Criterion dungeons come. The 6.2 patch cycle as a whole is in theory Island Sanctuary. I would love to see Relics, but it's not been confirmed for that cycle, but that is logical. So lots saved for that, but that is not today. Today, we are going into the Chronicles of a New Era, Omega Beyond the Rift. I haven't done any of this yet, so I don't know what they are, but those will begin with the Bespectacled Technician in Old Charlayan. You'll be looking for that little plus sign there. The quest name, you will need to have completed the MSQ quest Endwalker and the Chronicle of a New Era, A Dream in Flight to have this unlocked. We also will have the new side quest series Tataru's Grand Endeavor. This will also begin in Old Charlayan, and you will need to have completed the main scenario quest Newfound Adventure to get that done. Hildebrand is back. For those of you caught up on Hildebrand, pop over to Rod Zehan, talk to the Excitable Youth, and get started on the Sleeping Gentleman and get into what I'm sure is delightful quests. If you don't enjoy those quests, but you enjoy seeing them be done, my personal recommendation would be over to Seviweb's TV, who I think does a great job voicing things and has a lot of fun with stuff like this. Custom Deliveries are back. If we're just going to shout out content creators, Custom Deliveries is a great time to go check in on Ash 10 and see what is going on with crafting and gathering. And so that will pick up in Old Charlayan and the Arxidara out in Thavnair. Remember, we have dropped the name Beast Tribes. It is derogatory. I know that there's no parallel to that in the real world, so kind of wrap your head around the idea that a group of people that we did not understand and wanted to have more respect for now would prefer not to be referred to as beasts and will now just be tribal quests. Tribal quests moving forward, I believe because of lore ramifications, tribal quests only refers to ones that are post-Endwalker. The new saga, the previous saga, will remain Beast Tribes. Because people, you're going back in time. So that's how people did think. Now people are going to be thinking as tribal quests. You will need to have done Stepchild and What's in a Parent. Those are in Thavnair. You could just knock out the whole zone if you want. Remember, with Quest Sync, it's a great way to level up a job from level like 80. I went from 80 to 82 on my Dragoon by doing Frontlines Roulette and Leveling Roulette while doing those quests. Very, very easy. So we've got a couple of quests to unlock there. I've heard these give about 900,000 to a level 80. So I assume they're going to be paced out roughly like the Pixie dailies were from Shadowbringers, meaning it'll be about 3 days to go from 80 to 81. 4 or 5 days to go from 89 to 90 if that's your only source of experience, meaning on a DPS job that you just want to kind of casually level. You're looking at, you know, several weeks it'll be up. If you're doing leveling roulette, frontlines roulette, and hunts in addition to that, maybe you're still popping back into pixie dailies, it's going to be much, much, much shorter. That will give you a tribal currency for anybody that doesn't know how these work. These are our dailies in this game. They are not tied to power. They are tied to like a mount and things like that, cosmetics. So as you go back and do these, you do them for kind of your 2 weeks. You never technically need them again. So it's nice to have those done as you go back and knock out the various ones. We also, across expansions, get crafting and gathering ones as well. This will be our battle one for this expansion. Who knows? Maybe we get 2. We will also be adding Omega Beyond the Rift to New Game Plus. Now, furniture, for all the people who have won the housing lottery, as the housing lottery returns to normal, then I know that the free company awards, because all the free companies are kind of bidding on the big plots first, they're kind of trickling out, but I'm seeing those start to fill in nicely. The furnishings, got some new furnishings here. And then Golden Saucer. Keep in mind, we are in the middle of a Make It Rain campaign. That means 50% extra MGP, I believe. So for those of you that do your fashion report each week, that puts it at like 90k or something similar, silly. So go ahead and do that. We're also getting new cards and new NPC opponents added for Triple Triad. Go out there and grind that mount. That is epic. We'll also get new orchestra and scrolls. Those are usually added anytime there's new music tracks added, or there's a new source, right? Maybe those come from the tribal quests. Battle system changes. We knew there were PvP changes coming. We got changes in 6.11a, which was a weird patch. I wondered why they came out with PvP changes mid-cycle like that. And it turns out they were like, hey, I mean, we wanted to get these out the door, but you know, maybe we should slow down and kind of look at these a little more, because they did kind of talk about those production lines and what it takes to get a patch out mid-cycle like that. So I wonder if we'll see another A for a long time, or if they'll keep it to the patch and half patch. But Ninja, you got a couple changes. Black Mage, we knew was getting a big bunch of changes, so I hope you guys enjoyed that little brief window of oopsie. So we got some big changes there. Expect more in 6.2, which we know is coming in roughly August. We are also getting new items. Items added in 6.15 will be listed at a later date. They don't want to spoil those for anybody. And then recipes added will be shown again as well. I assume those are tied to custom deliveries. And then we also, as they've been slowly cleaning these up, these will now also be able to be sold, descent, or turned in for expert deliveries. Every once in a while we see items added to this stuff. I think they've gotten a lot more consistent over the years in how those are added. Ameliance is our new custom deliveries. I believe she's going to be one of the ones you can dress up, so I'm sure everybody will dress her completely respectfully and safe for work. Thank you. And so have fun with that if you guys haven't seen that. My one in Yulmore is dressed ridiculous. He's got like a horse head from the old event, and just it's a really fun reward to go do that. It's a great source of crafting and gathering scripts, which are basically the tomes for that style of content if you haven't messed with that. We are adding items to the inventory of Calamity Salvagers. Keep in mind, Calamity Salvagers are a great way to get back things like old Makai stuff or whatever. If you guys have ever kind of wished you had class sets back or something like that, there's quite a bit in there. We're adding new items to gathering points, and we're adding new things for fishing, teeming waters, new variety of fish, and then of course we knew new mounts were coming. They showed these off in the live letter, but I believe this is going to be one of our Arxidara things, but maybe not. Maybe it comes from something else. And then with that, of course, you're going to need new achievements, new titles, new music, new trophies, and all of that. We also have some resolved issues here. If there's anything that you have been wondering if they're going to get around to fixing, they've addressed a couple here. Other time, you know, there will be other ones in addition to this. So if it's something even smaller than minor text issues also addressed, sometimes from time to time you notice that thing that's been bugging you just got fixed. And you're like, I read the resolved issues every single patch notes, and somehow it's just fixed. But we do still have a known issue with Sleeping Gentleman, where the dialogue is attributed to the wrong character. And so I think Sleeping Gentleman, isn't that one of the Hildebrand quests? And then an issue when viewing the minion guide, where the description of the wind-up Arxidara minion overlaps its illustration. So those are known. I'm sure those will be fixed shortly. Hopefully you guys enjoy your 6.15. It's not a huge patch. The half patches aren't huge, especially when you're talking pre-relic, pre-side systems like Deep Dungeon, or this new dungeon system that we're getting in general, or whatever it is, the new 1 to 4 man content coming in 6.2. So they aren't huge patches, but they do come on the 2 months in between our 4-month cycles. And we will have a lot more in 6.2, a massive chunk. Good luck to all of you guys getting through DSR and all of that. I think that's where a lot of people are still spending their time, or they're enjoying other games.
That can't be real.
And that's wonderful, and it is real.
Oh my god.
There.
Oh my god.
So,
why? Why would you pay that?
On that note, thank you so much, Kenrick, for 2 years of support. Thank you guys for all the incredible support this week. This Thursday, for anybody sticking around this point, on Twitch, I'll be doing a podcast with Eorzean Archives, and of course Brian from Work to Game, and we'll be, I assume, talking lore. It is a lore week. Every other week is lore week. Every other lore week is Final Fantasy lore. I have finished 2.1 and 2.2 as of this recording. Wednesday I'll be doing 2.3 and 2.4 to make sure that this Thursday after the podcast, I'll be doing my first time through Crystal Tower as a non-story skipper. I started not skipping story in Shadowbringers, and so you can imagine, for those of you knowing Shadowbringers lore, there's some big reveals in Shadowbringers lore that don't really mean a lot if you don't have 2.x or Crystal Tower under your belt. So I am really looking forward to that, because I've kind of gotten the big payoff and then was like, what? So a little bit of a prequel for me, and I'm looking forward to that. Feel free to come hang out or check those out on replays over on Gaming Lore. Kinda.